Okie dokie. Well, one thing that has annoyed me about the Sonic franchise and the continued story is the lack of consistency. How things seem to not always, it doesn't feel like everything is within the same universe. Some storylines continue and thread through other games, but then other aspects change, and sometimes for me personally it leaves me wondering, where are we right now? Like, where on earth are we right now? Are we in Sonic's world? Does Sonic even have a world? Are we in the human world? Do the humans and Sonic's people and other beings, do they all live in the same world? Where's Green Hill Zone? Is Green Hill Zone in Sonic's world? When it comes to Sonic Forces, whereabouts are they then? Everything just feels messy. But when you have a character and certain things are set in stone but other things aren't, and the lore is messy and just everything is always changing, and then you have different adaptations, and then you have whatever the movies are, which I think are some of the worst depictions of these characters ever done. People will fight me on that, go ahead. It just results in a really messy franchise, and then when game after game comes out being a complete disappointment, what on earth is happening? Who is Sonic? What is the story? What's changing? What is self-contained to that story? And what is, part of the actual lore? Where are they? What's the universe? And stuff like that. And I think it's important to set those things in stone, because when you have a continuous story, it's not only easier to follow, but it's easier to connect with certain things. So I'm wondering, if I were to rewrite the Sonic franchise, how would I do it? What changes would I make? How would I approach it to have a continuous story? And I came up with an idea. It might be dog shite, you might not like it at all, but I was sitting at home just kind of brainstorming, throwing things at the wall. I thought, let me write down my idea and put it onto YouTube, and let's see if anybody, number one, even watches the freaking video, but number two, even actually, sees any potential in my story. I'm going to try my best to put my narration voice on, but here we go. Here we go. Me. La 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 la. Okay. And forgive me, I kind of have a bit of a cold, but either way, let's go. So, in Sonic's world, his lineage is tied to a powerful nation that once clashed with the Echidnas. The conflict stemmed from a struggle for power, resources, and also the Chaos Emeralds, artifacts of immense power that both sides believed to be their rightful claim. The Echidnas, as guardians of the Master Emerald, viewed the Chaos Emeralds as theirs to claim and actually belonged to them before being stolen during ancient times. But Sonic's nation, however, had long forgotten the Emerald's true origin and believed the Chaos Emeralds were theirs, especially given how Sonic's lineage, they have a natural ability to harness its power. With their superior technology, wealth, military power, they saw themselves as the rightful stewards of the Chaos Emeralds. Tensions over all these things and the Emeralds escalated and war ensued. The Echidnas were no match, and in a desperate final effort, the Echidnas threatened to use the Master Emerald to unleash mass destruction if they were not left alone. Destruction that would also destroy themselves. This forced Sonic's nation to retreat, leaving the Echidnas in isolation as they also shut down communication with all neighboring nations. Over time, the once great Echidna civilization declined, reduced to legend. Knuckles, the last of his kind, became the solitary guardian of the Master Emerald. Decades before Sonic's birth and Knuckles' birth, Professor Gerald Robotnik became obsessed with creating the ultimate life form. His research uncovered the power of chaos, a mysterious energy that binds all worlds but is concentrated in one. Gerald accidentally opened a portal to Sonic's world, sending in drones to explore. He discovered Sonic's nation and the Chaos Emeralds. Realizing their immense potential, Gerald launched an invasion into Sonic's world, bringing with him an army of robots and the Bio-Lizard, a failed prototype of the ultimate life form. His assault caused unparalleled devastation, but Sonic's ancestors united, using the Chaos Emeralds to enter their super form and repel Gerald's forces. After a grueling battle, they sealed the portal, cutting off access between the two worlds. But undeterred, Gerald continued his experiments and eventually allied with the Black Arms, a race of conquerors from a struggling dictatorship originating in Sonic's world, known for their hunger for resources and relentless cruelty. They had learned of Gerald's actions and sought to exploit his genius, dedication, and his world for their gain. Together, they created Shadow, modeled directly after Sonic's powerful lineage. Project Shadow was greenlit by the government, Gunn, who wanted Gerald to create the ultimate life form for the betterment of humanity, an all-powerful but obedient being that would grant immortality, heal, create with unlimited potential, better than any AI robot or code could ever achieve. But unlike Gunn, Gerald's main intention was to save his dying granddaughter, Maria, and for that end, he doesn't care what devastation he leaves in a world completely foreign to him. But word of this project starts to get out, with whistleblowers from Gunn running to news outlets to talk about dangerous experiments that could threaten the world as they know it. And if any evidence whatsoever were to get out of the government's involvement in this, they could lose trust with surrounding nations, which could impact their standing in the world as a global superpower. So they decided to put this entire project on Gerald's shoulder, the lone work of a madman. They stormed the Ark and committed a massacre, annihilating everyone and anything that could lead back to them and their involvement in the project, including killing Maria in violent fashion, locking Shadow in cryosleep, and assassinating Gerald Robotnik by firing squad. But Gerald, being the genius that he is, always stays one step ahead and created a failsafe for just in case either the Black Arms or Gunn were to betray him. A failsafe that would assure the total destruction of the entire world. 50 years later, Sonic the Hedgehog is born, but he rejects the royal responsibilities of his bloodline and instead he carves his own path. A free-spirited hero dedicating his life to helping those in need with no prejudice and earning the love of his people and those of other nations with his trusty sidekick and little bro, Tails Miles Prower. Meanwhile, Dr. Robotnik, completely unaware of Project Shadow and his grandfather's full legacy, picks up where Gerald left off with the intention of harnessing the power of the Chaos Emeralds to create the ultimate life form. Early in his career, Eggman attempts to invade Sonic's world, but his efforts pale in comparison to Gerald's past conquests, and Sonic easily destroys his robots and drives him out of his world without even needing the Chaos Emeralds. Determined to learn more about Sonic's world's secrets, Eggman creates an android designed to infiltrate but be able to hold his own against Sonic with copycat abilities and immense speed, a prototype of what will eventually become Metal Sonic. This leads Dr. Robotnik to learn about the Master Emerald and its connection to the Chaos Emeralds, along with the history between Sonic's country and the Echidnas. Eggman decides to try and exploit Knuckles' mistrust of Sonic's nation, convincing him that they plan to steal the Master Emerald to assert dominance, that during peace times they had blindly been following the truths of the past, but have realized that the Echidnas are no more. There's only one more protector. What's stopping them from now claiming the Master Emerald as they always wanted to do? Of course, this was not the case. They had no intention of taking the Master Emerald, but Eggman convinces Knuckles of this, and feeling the weight of his duty and the bitterness over his people's past, he agrees to help Eggman. He steals the Chaos Emeralds, believing it's his duty to reclaim what was stolen from his ancestors and to protect the Master Emerald. However, before he can realize that he's been fooled, Eggman uses the power of the Chaos Emeralds and the Master Emeralds to awaken Chaos, an ancient being of unimaginable power, tied to the Chow of Knuckles' island, Angel Island. And through using the power of the Chaos Emeralds and the Master Emeralds, Dr. Robotnik was able to revert the Chow back to their prior state before evolution, to create chaos. Dr. Robotnik escapes back into the human world, and Sonic and Tails arrive on Angel Island prepared for a fight to retrieve the stolen emeralds. But Knuckles, embarrassed by his deception, admits that he no longer even has them. He was fooled, and the Chaos Emeralds and the Master Emeralds have been taken. This leads to Knuckles teaming up with Sonic and Tails to retrieve the Chaos Emeralds and the Master Emerald from the human world. Their pursuit takes them to the human world where they encounter humanity for the first time, but despite the unfamiliar surroundings, they haven't got time to dilly-dally and wander around. A fight is already on the way, and they all work together to confront Eggman and Chaos in an epic showdown to retrieve the emeralds. The story concludes with Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles being celebrated as heroes, surrounded by people that they have no idea what they even are, accepting their praise whilst also looking at each other like, who on earth are these people? Why do they even look like that? What is this? Where are we? And that's where the first movie ends. And then the second movie can be like a few years later, yada yada yada. You know, they've been coming back and forth to the human world quite a few times, always fighting fighting Dr. Eggman, stopping his plans and stuff like that. And it becomes a thing where that bridge between both worlds has been bridged together, kinda, if you get what I mean. And then we go to the events of the second adventure game, which is more or less left completely untouched, incorporating the elements from Shadow 05 with a few changes, of course. One of the main ones being that Dr. Gerald isn't the complete and utter saint that they made him out to be, but is instead a deeply flawed person, which I think is the best way to depict him. Having a character do really bad things with the quote unquote best of intentions is cliche, but also adds weight to the character depending on how you do it. And I think it adds more weight than retconning him in Shadow 05 to be like, I did everything great all along. I was never a bad person. I think let's make him into a dickhead, a horrible, evil scientist with the best of intentions for his world, with no qualms about what he does to another. I think that's quite powerful. But yeah, that's the first idea I have. And they can tie in the other stories and then Shadow Generation story. You know, I think that's where I would begin to rewrite and have a consistent story. I would start all the way back there and tie everything together, because I can't lie, you know, having everything everywhere, it's like you're playing self-contained games. I think have a continuous story grounded in a world that we can relate to and understand, and have a continuous story. And even when you have side stories, have it linked back and just, you know what I mean? That's what I feel. And on top of that, I wouldn't even listen, because there seems to be, from what I've seen in the fan base, two sides. People that want more mature stories and people that are like, come on now, it's silly. It's a hedgehog that can run fast. Why are you trying to be all serious and edgy? Ignore those people. I love stories of all different kinds. I love anime and things that may seem stupid. It links back to that old mentality of cartoons are for kids, right? That dumb mentality that still perpetuates in Hollywood today, where animations don't get the love they deserve, because unless it's steered towards kids, it's not taken seriously, which is how we get that mess of the Sonic movies, where it's so heavily marketed towards kids, because anything cartoon can't possibly be for adults, right? Anime ain't even as big as it should be, because there's still that divide where people can't get through their heads that cartoons can be serious, can be real. Animation can be serious and real. It's not just something purely for kids, it's something that's for all ages. There can be a whole variety of stories. And having a blue hedgehog that can run isn't just silly. It doesn't have to be for kids. You can have serious stories, real stakes with real mature themes. And that's not dumb. Having Shadow hold a gun isn't stupid because, oh, it's a hedgehog holding a gun. Like, that's really lazy and dumb and backwards thinking. It's poor because of the execution, but the idea isn't stupid just because he's a cartoon character, a hedgehog holding a gun. That's dumb. The majority of fans of Sonic, before the brand new fans have been targeted towards in these movies, are grown now. We're not babies. We've been living life, and life is quite hard. I like the idea of Sonic going through some really relatable, serious, or just mature themes. Doesn't mean make him overly edgy and turn him, you know, come on now. You can still keep that light-hearted feel whilst also being mature. This mentality of it's cartoon, so it must be for kids. It has to go. Dead it. Enough. But anyways, yeah, I think I'll conclude that video there. Thank you for watching.